Howdy, folks, and welcome back. This is the Moondrop Stellaris. Thanks, Paul Wasabi, for sending me this guy. Pretty cool headphone. So I've just got this on my microscope here. Wanted to actually take a look at this little vent thing. Let's see. And see if I could tell if it was open, because I don't think it is. And I think that the vent is actually this little pinhole in the back. In any case, this is the standard Moondrop $100 to $200 fit and finish, meaning that it's made of a very heavy steel. And I don't know why they do this, but the damn bore is absolutely massively long. I got these and within a few minutes decided they sucked and I never wanted to hear them again. So I modified them immediately. And, well, actually, I asked Paul if I could. He said, yeah, sure. I don't think he likes them that much either. So just to show people how I started to modify these, it's no big secret. I mean, if you own these, like, good luck. That's all I have to say. So here's our little front vent on these. Let me zoom in a little bit here. And actually, we'll just go ahead and zoom way in. Sorry. And you can see that, I've talked about poking vents before. That's a poke. I use actually a cactus needle, which for whatever reason has very, very small, it gets me very small, very controlled holes. And so on this headphone, I went ahead and decreased the bass after I did a little modification to the nozzle. Let me just show you that. And again, I'm not going to be rating this modification. I just did it because, hey, man, it's nicer to have something that's usable than not, right? So if I pull out our little foamy foam, I stuck an insert, and that insert is just some silicone tubing. And, this guy, and I think the driver is just on the other side of this. Let's see if we could see anything. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's a little Moondrop custom driver in there. Cool. And yeah, so I mean, if you have these and you hate them or whatever, then this is the stuff I did. I didn't open the back of the shell. I was just trying to do an easy mod. But yeah, so an insert, sorry, little silicone insert, probably have to poke out the vent on them like so. And then honestly, it's hard. It's easier to do this stuff with a coupler so you can actually tell what you're doing. In any case, thank you, Paul, for sending me these again. So I thought I would do a little bit of a different format. I do enjoy Paul Wasabi's reviews a lot, and I thought I'd give that a shot. So this is absolutely inspired by Paul. And let's go. All right, so Paul usually prints out a little page, and then he talks about it. So here's my page. Can I zoom into this? Maybe people could see a little better. All right, so Moondrop Stellaris, $109. Well, $110. It's got a custom Moondrop planner, 14.5 millimeter driver. And I'm a huge planner fan, so I wanted to get these to check out. And actually, what's hilarious is Paul was going to send me something else, and I was going to ask him to send me the Stellaris, and then I forgot. But he sent him because he's a cool dude, and he's smart. And he knows what I would want to check out. All right, moving on. Fit and finish. Very heavy shell. I really don't like Moondrop's like $100 style shells, $100 to $200. They are freaking chunks of metal. They're very heavy. And, it's the same as like the Canas Pro, Canas Starfields, all those things. The same type of metal, the same heaviness. But when they do this, when they make a bore that freaking long, I can't get these in my ears that far. So what happens is they just dangle. They sort of just dangle by the tip, pulling down on my ear, and I absolutely hate it. I have no idea. I guess, Moondrop thinks that people have very long, straight ear canals. Well, no, not really. Not usually, Moondrop. All right, so yeah, the bore length is about twice as long as it should be. I hate it. I just described why. The blue aesthetics are fairly nice. I mean, I could, give or take them. I find them to be cool. but at the end of the day, I don't care that much either way for the aesthetics because they have so much going on that's wrong with them. So it's like, whatever. Yeah, and also the body of the IEM, sorry, let me flipping back and forth. It actually mounts in the ear like vertically like this. Sorry, I don't have it in focus. So if anyone's seen the Soft Ears Twilight or the Turi, see how the 2-pin is on top? So as you stick this in your ear, it's going to mount vertically, and it feels weird. It's actually hitting the outer part of my ear, the top part here. I don't like it. There's no reason to do this that I can think of. So fail on the on the fit and the mounting in your ear. I don't like it. Moving on, and also, well, sorry, Jesus, flipping all over. The bores right here are way too thick for how long they are. You know, maybe if they had pulled off like an etymotic style thing, they would be thinner bores. Maybe you could work that out, but as it is, I hate them. All right, let's move on. It's actually the worst fit I've had on a headphone in a very, very, very long time, which is impressive. Moondrop, impressively bad. All right, sound. We will call this a massive V shape. And let me pull up the graphs. Boom. Graphs. All right. Now, the blue graph is my retuning. That's sort of this one down here. And then the purplish graph is the stock tuning. And we can see that we have 14.3 dB of pinna gain, or we'll call it ear gain, whatever you want to call it, at around 2.5K. We do have 10 dB of bass shelf compared to the low mids. I have this like at the 0 line so you can easily check it. And well, I'll just say this is a huge V. I mean, this 15 dB nearly, get the hell out of here with that. That's bunk. I don't know what they're thinking. Absolutely bunk. Then another interesting part of this is just that, you know, as we cross the 10K, 8K coupler peak bump, don't pay attention to that. But we come past the 10K peak here, or peak the 10K line, and we're just going up and up and up and up in energy. And the energy actually is at, what is this? Like whatever peak this is, about 13K. Again, 711s are not accurate, but we can see that there's something here, and it's a lot of it, right? A lot of energy here. Drops off a cliff, I don't know, maybe somewhere in this area, 16, 15K. But, actually listening to this thing, it's a absolute extension beast. It is arguably one of the most extended drivers on the market, or, I mean, certainly it's just one driver, right? But jeebers, it is truly extended into the stratosphere. So that's a unique thing about this. And I thought, maybe I could retune it a little bit, and I'll just talk about that real quick. I wasn't even going to talk about the retuning, but, I popped the pinna down and forward. I do think I cannot stand this amount of V-shape on this set. It's just horrible. So I moved the pinna up a little bit to about, 2-ish K instead of 2.5. And then we're at 6 dB instead of freaking 15. And I did get what I was trying to do is not neuter the extension on this to death, which I think I did. And then, because we're only at like 6 dB pinna, I got the bass down to like 4 from the mids. So overall, this sounds actually reasonable now. And the blue graph, I don't mind listening to it. In fact, it's got some really nice staging and some other metrics, but forget that. It's just stuff I was trying. All right, so going over stuff. Sound, we will call a massive V shape. It has to be that. It just has to. With 15 dB of that ear gain, 2.5K. The mids below 2.5 are, well, harder to hear because of that massive peak. Stage is somewhat flat due to pushed treble. So pushed, I don't know, we'll just call it highly extended. I'm not sure if you want to call it pushed from the graph, but highly extended. It does flatten the stage somewhat. I do think that, how to put this, with sound in a room, those high frequencies above 10K are absolutely not as energetic in a room. So your brain sort of interprets that as being sort of a 3D thing. And since this has so much of that treble over 10K, I do think that it makes my brain think of this as more of like a flat stage, just to make that point. Bass quantity, pretty good. It's tight and bouncy. I didn't mind it. They did have to pop it to 10 dB to compensate for the 15 dB of pinna, which, there's no reason to do that, obviously. I retuned it with a lot less than that, but just to make that point. So the bass quantity is pretty good. I don't mind it too. I don't mind it. The driver does a good job at that. The mids are freaking awful, absolutely horrible. With 15 dB of pinna gain at 2.5, it just skews everything. It makes vocals, a lot of instruments, they sound kind of cocked wah sound. You'd have to be a guitarist to get this, but a wah pedal kind of changes the Q factor of your mid range and makes it piercy or dull. It's a guitar thing, but this has like as if the wah pedal is cocked all the way down and it's just stuck like that. Sometimes I say that mids or something has a pinched quality, but this is inverted. It's not pinched, it's like blasted in a peak at 2.5. 15 dB is a no-go for me at any time ever. So, yeah. Treble is also boosted too much. Okay, so maybe boost is not the right word. It is extended too much for this type of tuning. I, in my opinion, think that we would need to bump the mid bass and lower mids up. Probably, I'd have to, do this by ear, but probably at least 2 to 4 dB to counteract and make the extended treble feel more coherent with the entire sound signature. That's kind of one of my secret things for tuning. But anyway, just to make that point, this just sounds hollow in weird places, and then it's got that stupidly extended treble, which can be good, but it's got to be tuned right. Okay, moving on. So we tested some things. By the way, this stage, not really 3D. It's just not. It is decently wide, though. I would say that that's a good metric with planar drivers, and in general, the good high-quality ones have a very nice wide staging to them, which you might find on like a top-of-the-line headphone. It's pretty similar, really pretty good. Moving on, music. Let's try different genres and see how they go. So just, real quick, EDM electronica, about 50% was too peaky. Whether it was just something in the mid-range or the extended things in the upper treble were just too energetic for my ears and fatiguing. But 50% pretty decent that I found fun. Again, this is only the stock tuning, not the modification I did. I'm not even going to talk about that. Jazz, for the most part, sounded pretty good. Had no problems with it. The 10 dB of bass sounded nice and thumpy and bouncy. And then, in general, jazz does not have any really pushed mid-range parts. It's kind of I don't know. Jazz tends to be sultry. This did pretty good with that. Vaporwave was pretty decent, but some tracks that have some weird effects and things in the treble and mid-range were way too hot to listen to, and it's the kind of thing where you just have to turn the volume down. Rock, I'm going to say rock was a fail. More than half of the things I tried were just peaky and thin, and I don't think sibilant perhaps, but just way too skewed into the upper mids and treble to feel good about, like kick drums, for instance, were just pathetic on this because it was so skewed to the high ranges and the sub ranges and nothing in the middle. Metal was absolutely unlistenable. It was like stunningly bad, stunningly crunchy. I don't know about sibilant, but just absolutely like distorted guitars. All you could really hear was the distortion, like the rather than the meat or any kind of body of the guitars. It was just freaking bad. R&B was okay. Some tracks, depending on the mixing, were fatiguing. I think you guys can all see where I'm going with this. I really don't like this headphone at all. But R&B was like one of the things I could listen to for the most part. Classical was decent, but the mid-range frequencies for like pianos and anything with like instruments in that range were skewed. 15 dB just makes them just wrong sounding, never mind being too loud in the track or whatever, just totally wrong sounding. So forget that. Also, the bass was too high for classical, too thumpy. And reggae was about half and half. Some of the older tracks that are analog recorded sounded freaking horrible because they have a lot of mids and 15 dB. Jesus Christ. Judgment, DNP, do not purchase. But if you did happen to purchase these, then it could be that you would want to give this modification a shot. Just get yourself a little tube, stick it in there, get yourself some foam, stick it in there, and then poke a little bit of pokey poke on the vent to decrease bass if that's the kind of thing you want to hear. And, actually turns them into something that's reasonable to listen to and maybe save you your $100 so you don't have to throw it in the trash. Right on. I don't know if there's anything else to add. Thanks, Paul. Paul, I don't mind your little paper format where I can sort of like go topic by topic and chat about that. It's not too bad. Well, at least it's not too bad for like my style of yapping about stuff, but I really enjoy your reviews either way, so I just thought I'd give that a shot. And before anyone tells me I'm copying Paul, yeah, I am. Thanks a lot. Paul's awesome. Have a great day.